Hey everybody, so it's no surprise that I'm not exactly the world's biggest fan of the Line 6 Spider series. Oh, Jesus Christ! They've all been terrible until the very recent release of the Spider 5's Mark II firmware. The Line 6 Helix is also very good as well, but I might have just found a hidden gem in the pile of old, outdated spiders, and that is the Spider Valve. A few years back, Line 6 teamed up with Bacher to release the Spider Valve series. I really didn't think much of it at the time because I pretty much hated everything Line 6 had put out up until that point. But I was hanging out at Ulrich Wild's studio one day and noticed that he had one of them in his amp collection. And I'm like, dude, what's up with this? And Ulrich replied that he thought it was actually pretty great. Well, Ulrich has done a lot of records that I really enjoy by Pantera, White Zombie, and Fu Manchu. So I figured that this might be worth investigating. Now, let's be clear, I'm really not interested in the cleans or the crunch. I want to know if this thing is actually usable for recording metal in the studio. So I'm not going to bore you guys to death with a long, drawn-out review. Please go subscribe to HP42 for that sort of thing. Anyway, at first look, it's already much more promising than a lot of the Spider's entry-level offerings. First and foremost, there's a 40-watt tube power section, and the open back cabinet mounts a real vintage 30. But what's most important, and it's something that I really wish some of the other models had, is a speaker output, meaning you can connect to an external cabinet. Now, why is this so important? Because the speaker is what generates the sound. It's probably the most important part of the amp. With the entry-level Spiders, you're stuck with what the amp has. There's no option to plug into something else. And that's been my biggest gripe, because most of those included speakers are the sonic equivalent of total dog shit. And I have to spend hours explaining to the client why the amp that rocked his little sister's birthday party might not be the best choice for a pro-level studio recording. So let's mic this up and see what the Vintage 30 can do. The interface is pretty simple and it's easy to turn off all the effects and crap and just run it as a regular tube amp, which is how I want it about 99% of the time when I'm recording. So far, I really haven't felt the need to download the software and make up some custom patches. Apparently you can do this via MIDI cable and the software is still available online. If you're on Windows 10, however, just be sure to grab the Windows 8 version. So what I like the most about this amp is the ability to plug into another cabinet or run the power section into an attenuator like a Torpedo Live, and then you can run all kinds of custom impulses and tweak out your tone. That's great. However, in this case, I'm going to hook the Spider Valve up to the new Laney Black Country Custom 4x12 loaded with 4 Celestion 75-watt G12H speakers. This cabinet is a replica of the cab Tony Iommi used on the Black Sabbath records up until 1979. I'm also trying out the new Fredman clip from the Studio Fredman guys for that dual 57 sound that they made famous on In Flames and a whole bunch of other records. Because let's face it, if you're gonna mic up an external cabinet, you might as well do it with some style. Joining me on this track is the drummer Nash from India, who dropped by the studio a while back. We've got the amp set to insane mode in the blue version, whatever the hell that means. Here we go. By Crom's balls, I'm shocked. The Spider valve produced a tone that I'd be happy to put on a record. Now, granted, the Laney cab is a limited edition monster that will set you back a whopping 1,749 American dollars. But it really does go to show what happens when you use the Spider valve as a tube head rather than a jack-of-all-trades combo solution. Its strength here is its adaptability. Something that's been lacking with the entry-level models, and that's why I fucking hate them so much. I also like the fact that I didn't have to dig through page after page of settings just to get it tweaked out. I also didn't have to go into the manual. That was great too. It was a no-brainer to dial the amp in and save it as a preset right on the front panel. The idea is to spend your time playing through the amp instead of dicking around with it trying to get something usable from it. Now, it's a bit of a shame that they don't make these anymore, but what's interesting is that you can find a used Spider valve like the one in the video here on eBay for only $250 to $300. Not bad at all considering it's a 40-watt tube amp. And don't be fooled, 40 watts of tube power is freaking loud. You'll not have any issues being heard at band practice or on stage. However, I would definitely recommend pairing it with a 4x12 so you can really get an idea of what it's capable of. The included speaker is fine, but an open back 1x12 really can't compete with a full-sized 4x12, especially for metal tones. But Glenn, what if I don't have a lot of money for a 4x12? Well, make sure you're subscribed because in an upcoming episode, I'm going to show you how to find a cheap 4x12 and make it awesome without breaking the bank. Now, to be sure you don't miss that episode, please sign up for my mailing list so you will actually get a notification of when it comes out, rather than relying on YouTube's Mother May I approach of punching subscribe and humping the bell. Links are in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and if you got other suggestions for hidden gem guitar amps, leave a comment and let me know. I love hearing from you guys. So until next time, keep making the best records you can by whatever means necessary.